All right, guys, Blitz World Series action coming at you here on the demo map for the month of November. This is our third and fourth place game. We got Marko and Qien in here. Both those guys losing their semifinal battles. Bit surprising to have see these guys in the third and fourth place game. Normally this is our championship game, but well, we got ourselves a banger nonetheless. So Luke and Laptop going on to the championship. We got Marko and Qien in here banging out for third and fourth place. So Marko, of course, out of Finland, the final boss. Not in this case. I guess he's the final boss of the third place bracket. But Marko, the GOAT in yellow, out of Finland. And, of course, we got Qien, the Octo Kid, out of Russia, in red on the top side. The best of 7 is wrong on the right side. This is a best of 5 game. You guys know the drill around here. Should be a good one. We'll see. Both players opening on the right side. We've seen that all month, players favoring this right side of the map. Even though the map is technically perfectly balanced. You know, players just favor that right side a little closer to the build bar, I guess. Who knows? Who knows? You guys always, everyone wants the BO99s around here. We got to keep it tight. Got to keep it easy peasy, lemon squeezy. For those of you guys, I was streaming a little bit live on YouTube before this, playing some games. Hopefully some of you guys from YouTube made it over to Twitch. I know a lot of players who watch on YouTube just aren't able to get the time to come over to Twitch, or you're sleeping when I stream. But anyway, on YouTube, we love you guys nonetheless. If you're watching this, enjoying the content, like, comment, and subscribe. Free for you, helps me immensely. Try to get this content in front of more people. Next month, hopefully a big month for Red Alert 2. We got the World Cup coming up. Going to be both Blitz and non-Blitz tournaments throughout the month. Lots of events, team games, free-for-alls. Should be fun. Marko making a first little push here. Both players battling for that higher ground. Battling for the higher ground, the sentries. Look at Marko's sentries. Marko had the same build versus Luke. These oils were eventually kind of exposed, and Qien pulling ahead here, but Marko, a lot of sentry guns to pull back to. And it's always so interesting to see, you know, we go through the divisions throughout the month. You know, you watch the new players play, and it slowly gets better and better. And then it's so funny to see, like, the top 4, they play the map completely differently. And it's just really like at its core. I mean, these guys are playing completely different games. That's the reality, you know. These guys are playing chess, and we're all playing Candyland. So they understand the importance of this higher ground in these early engagements, and they're going to favor it. Marko, I feel like these oils are a little exposed, but at the same time, Marko's so fast that if someone tries to dive on one of these oils, Marko's going to bait him and make him pay for it. So demo truck on the left side here. Kirov coming in on the right, some flak tracks, some flak cannons. It's going to get a couple oils here. I'm not sure if that'll chain react, actually. No, it won't. Yeah, so remember that's you want 2 cells. Oh, I thought he lost his MCV. Demo truck from Marko gets in the backside, getting some damage done. Yeah, and so, and you guys on YouTube, I did close the comments here. We actually ran the championship yesterday, so these games are out of order. So that's why there's no comments on the screen today, because the Twitch guys like to spoil it for you. So Twitch guys, you guys can spoil as much as you want, say whatever you want, because the YouTubers can't see it anyway. Desolators and Kirovs out now. Neither player getting too much offensive value as we switch into a mid-game with the tech out. We do have an Iron Curtain advantage for Qien, pretty significant one as well. So those Desolators trying to support that Kirov, and the Desolator's going to get in and get some nice chip damage. Wow, Desolator's right down the gut. Yeah, that's some nice damage. Qien now splitting off on the left side. Marko going to split to defend. Did have one drone over there as well. Marko able to overcommit to the defense. Oh, but look at that Iron Curtain. Very, very nice from Qien. So he's going to try to go at Marko's tanks here, which is a good idea. Does need to control Marko's tank numbers a little bit. Marko having a little bit trouble running here, and now Qien gonna do a little seesaw now down the right side as well. There's Desolators to help hold that right line. I think he will blast those Desolators. He did hold on the left side, although there is an Elite out. Elite goes down. So keep an eye here. Marko's force shield. Ooh, no force shield to save that Iron Curtain. So Marko will hold this attack, but yeah, pretty good offensive value there. Canceling out the Iron Curtain is absolutely huge. SVS at this level, oftentimes it's kind of just a game of Iron Curtains back and forth until someone's able to, you know, get the offensive value they want. So canceling out your opponent's Iron Curtain is absolutely massive, and Marko to not have any counterpunch potential in this position is definitely tough. So another Iron Curtain now coming here for Qien. And some drones out as well from Qien. A bit interesting. Neither player getting in the water yet. Boris? Boris? Where's the Boris at? Demo truck's out. Marko with map control. See if he can take advantage of it here. Demo truck on the left side. Oh, and the sentry guns. Yeah, Marko's not going to have any issues with the demo truck on that right side. Left side one's going to go in, and Qien's going to die. Is Marko droned on the left side? So he's going to IC some drones here. Yeah, the IC drone, oftentimes the play to open things up for a Kirov or something like that. In this case, just going to try to whittle down these Rhino numbers so that he can get in there with his own Rhinos and make something happen. And those drones, yeah, you see Marko's tanks popping, and that's why. But Qien still doesn't quite have the numbers to decisively roll through here. Obviously, Marko's tank control, an absolute master class here, taking these down, even though he was heavily droned to begin that engagement. Does hold off that wave, but Qien has another one coming. Both players on 1 billion war factories. Well, 5 to 6. So war factory advantage for Marko in this position. 7 wars, 2, 4, 6. 6 on the top side, 2, 4, 6 on the bottom side. Is there 7? Maybe I'm missing one. All right, and Qien definitely the aggressor in this exchange, but I don't know. I mean, the Iron Curtain, getting that Iron Curtain was huge, but what was Qien really able to do with it? Honestly, again, Qien gonna pull ahead on this exchange. Marko, I don't know. Marko, I feel like a couple positions here where Marko maybe could have gotten some value with his Desolators, just kind of using them as fodder, doesn't want to give up his own tanks. You know, for a lot of players, it's like, if you have 9 Rhinos, they have 10, blast the Desolators. But for Marko, each of his Rhinos is worth like 1.5 compared to a Mortal. So I think he's oftentimes better off using the Desolators as fodder compared to going Broken Arrow and blasting his own units. Another Iron Curtain here for Qien. So Marko's going to head downfield here, but into a lot of drones and a lot of radiation. Force shield. Again, no force shield, and the Iron Curtain does go down once again. But Marko able to dive on the MCV. Oh! Oh, Marko got his Iron Curtain off. I missed that. Marko downfield. Oh, and what a beautiful and absolute work of art, tactical mastery here. Forces the cell on the Iron Curtain. And that's what I'm talking about here, guys. Yeah, Marko's playing chess. We're all playing Candyland. Now, obviously, Qien's right on a level with him. He was going toe-to-toe. But that's what's, you know, interesting about this game. You know, it feels a little redundant. It feels a little repetitive. Rhino wars, you know, nothing too crazy. And then that split-second decision-making from Marko. Now he just has to hold off here. Qien with a good batch of Rhinos, and Qien's still producing on all cylinders here. That's for sure. And a nice elite in that group, microing it well, is getting a lot of value out of that. Marko, look at Marko engaging in the open field here. He could pull back to his defenses. He's here for blood. He doesn't like being in the 3rd place bracket. Yeah, you can tell Marko's hungry right now. You love to see it. Qien's certainly going toe-to-toe here, but down in MCV, very tough. He does have a Boris, though. If anyone can shift the game here, it's going to be old Boris. Lots of Desolators in there as fodder now for Qien. So Marko in the belly of the beast. What's the target here? The barracks is looking nice. Yeah, but he's got to control his Rhino numbers. He knows right now he's ahead. Counterpunch is the big issue here. He doesn't want to get caught diving on buildings and then get counterpunched. So if he can just chip away here, there's a couple juicers, but they're all right in the very center. Obviously, the nuclear reactor and the barracks are very nice. Going to take another War Factory topside. Does force Qien to commit downfield. Doesn't really have the tanks for it. Qien quits out. First one on the board for Marko. So now over to Allied versus Allied. Yeah, so that first one for Marko, very interesting. I mean, we saw Qien the aggressor throughout that series, but Marko, that Iron Curtain exchange, right? Qien went downfield. Marko was able to get down with just a small batch of Rhinos, take the MCV. I mean, that's that kind of decision making. You know, there's so many things for new players, like, oh, try this, try that, get an auto clicker, work on your micro. But then there's those things that really separate the men from the boys, and unfortunately, I think those are pretty much only forged in the fire of thousands of hours spent playing the game, and that's why it's always fun watching these guys, what they come up with in here. So Marko going to open a batch of GIs. We did see him struggle a little bit against the GIs in his semifinal game versus Luke. So Marko now going to try to see if he can get some value out of them. Yeah, that's one note as well. A lot of times with the shield, a lot of these players are more used to Red Alert 2. I don't think that's necessarily the case for Qien, but Marko maybe plays more Red Alert 2. So obviously the Force Shield is not in Red Alert 2, it's only in Yuri's Revenge. So you do oftentimes see players who are More used to Red Alert 2, not as familiar with that. Eagle out now, trying to hit those IFVs. The IFV snipers to handle these GIs. Unfortunate that Marko's not going to get any value out of those GIs, but he is making the correct decision just to pull him back here. No reason to let him die aimlessly. Eagle still trying to control those IFVs. Oh, and does take one out. Oh, and then gets out of position, able to jump on it here. Ooh, but he's out. Jesus, that's such fast. It's incredible. So now he brought those GIs and thought that maybe they'd at least get some chip damage on the Grizzlies. Not able to. God damn, these guys move so fast. Oh, it's hilarious. I just like, it's just a different game. 3 Eagles get downfield, find some value. So Marko with the Eagle advantage here, AVA, and Qien not even making an attempt. He doesn't even seem to care. He's trying to get value out of his Grizzlies, which can be tough here. 1 Rocketeer to deal with that paradrop should be enough. Gets those Grizzlies gummed up. Yeah, they get a little stuck in that choke point there. So for those of you guys who've seen the new demo map that we'll be using in the World Cup, if we use the demo map in the World Cup, we're still a little bit undecided on that. But anyway, I updated the demo map, this map, so instead of these big cliffs here, it's more of like a small hill for the tech. Right now, these bottlenecks, I think, are slowing the game down too much on this map. So we switched these to little hills. The cliffs can also get a little weird with pathing. I kind of like that, that you have to kind of play like a ring around the rosy in tank fights, but I think it's more frustrating than it is entertaining. Eagles 3 for 3, and the demo truck on the right, the demo truck on the left. Is there any end to the mayhem? The goat storm, we call it right now. Marko coming at him from all sides. The GI's on the hill. Qien's doing a quick equation here, and he's going to find that the end of the equation is that he's lost this game because he has no AFCs. And Marko pushes. It's just like, Marko doesn't need to push here. You know, Marko can just win this one from the skies, but like I said, Marko doesn't like this whole 3rd, 4th place game. He's not here to win. He's here to prove something, and you love to see it. All right, now you see Marko. Yeah, Marko doesn't want to, obviously, you know, showing a lot of respect to Qien in this position for Marko not just to hammer it down his throat. He knows that a player like Qien, you know, anything's possible. If Qien has a handful of tanks, he can always make some kind of wily coyote downfield play. So yeah, he's gonna get a little smart here. Again, goes for an oil, but not able to get the War Factory. You look at the map awareness here from Qien. Look the way he's spreading his oils out. None of these oils will chain react, and particularly in AVA. You know, maybe AVS, there's, you know, it depends on the faction matchup. Maybe AVS, it's worth it. Yeah, there's some problematic oils, but you can turtle in and protect yourself. AVA, you know the Eagles are going to be harassing you all game, so it's very, very important. And I'm a bit surprised to see Marko giving Qien a little bit more breathing room than I would expect. Now, Marko knows he can win this game by purely canceling out oils. Again, guys, AVA is very, 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 very simple in the fact that oftentimes we see long games. You can only build 12 oils per game. Now, 12 oils per game people struggle with. Here's what it is. You can only build 12 oils per game. You say, Ivor, what if I lose an oil? 12 oils total built per game. Not 12 oils on the field at one time. 12 oils total built. So once you build your 12th oil, you're out of oils. So Marko knows that. Marko's got 5 Eagles. He's going hunting. He's going to chip away every single oil. Well, there's multiple ways to siege a castle, right? Step 1 is to storm down the gate and kill everyone inside. Step number 2 is to circle the castle, poison the well, and wait for them to starve. And yeah, it looks like Marko's going for step number 2. Demo truck on the right side. Yeah, Qien just Qien in a very tough, and another oil goes down top right. And it was funny for those of you guys who caught Marko's game yesterday. Marko got dismantled by the demo trucks, and that's one thing we've talked about. One weakness you will see from Marko in the Final Four. He doesn't really play that many games throughout the month. He doesn't really play quick match. He just shows up. He's Brad Pitt in Troy, right? He lays around, and then all of a sudden when the people need their champion, he shows up and kicks everyone's ass. But his one weakness in that case is that he doesn't always get a ton of reps on the map. And so sometimes that doesn't really matter. Most Blitz maps play similar, but this map, obviously the demo trucks are very odd if you haven't gotten reps in on it. And we did see yesterday Marko struggling a little bit with the demo trucks. And now today, of course, he's like, never again. Never again, Marko said. And today, obviously, Marko with very nice map control and good awareness as well. He's been getting a lot of value out of the demo trucks each time. Marko going to push in on the left side. Does get his tanks a little bit strung out here. Qien a little bit slow to react on the left. Not going to matter because he's out tanked 5-1. Yeah, and Marko just absolutely overwhelming Qien. Qien forcing Marko to convert the position, but as Snark would say, he would have to start control clicking the ground at this point to lose this game. And Qien sells off. So let's check in with you guys in the chat. How did you guys feel about this one? 70% of you on Marko. Looks like those points are going to be good here, but we'll see. Never count Qien out. Quick reminder, guys. Red Alert 2 World Cup, $650 going out in prize this month of December. We got Blitz, we got regular, not Blitz, Red Alert 2 action coming. 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. You can play both tournaments, and this month, for the first time, we're going to let players schedule their own games. I'm going to have other streamers helping me out, so it's going to make it a lot easier, regardless of where you live, what your time zone is, what your work schedule is. Should be pretty simple. It's also single elimination, so at worst, you play 1 match. At best, you're only going to play 3. Should be a lot of fun for everyone. All skill levels welcome. GI's coming now from Marko, storming down. Qien going straight sentries to defend. That is a big bundle of GIs here. But Qien's going to send the Rhinos right downfield. He's now ulting the War Factory. He will get that War Factory. The GI is now a little AFK, but Qien's not really keeping up with these GIs. He now, uses that Rhino. How much more can that Rhino get? Pretty good value, and now another tank out. So Marko holds. Qien's down to War Factory, and now Qien with the 1 Rhino on the backside. Pillbox out, and Qien's going to keep the action on Marko's side of the field, I think, from here. Let's see what he can do. Marko now forced to spam these pillboxes and try to regroup. Back out with the War Factory, and Grizzlies back on the field. So the GOAT's not looking in too bad a shape here, but ultimately, you know, we talk about offense being a good defense, and that GI rush, if Marko had all of his time and energy for that GI rush, it would have played out very differently. So that was, that's a kind of a high-level move for Qien if you can handle it. Defending is always going to be a little bit easier than attacking in many cases. So for Qien to say, hey, I can spam sentries on the backside, let's shift the action to his side so that he can't micro his GIs. Good decision. 1 Rhino out of position, but able to get in there and save it. Pillbox is out. Look at Marko clicking down those tanks. But right in a death triangle of pillboxes. Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, we've seen what Marko can do here with pillbox in these positions. Makes it so difficult to attack him. Perfect pillbox placement, and again, Marko does hold, but at what cost? Marko now broke in this position, but he got his 4 Eagles out. Now, oftentimes, we've seen this same story before, but no Eagles, right? So for him to have, for Marko to have gotten his 4 Eagles out before going broke in a much better position, you got to remember he's got his 4 Eagles, basically. If he didn't have them, it'd be a much different story right now. And Qien going to dive on this oil, and Marko gives it to him. Marko gives him that oil. He knows he can't go toe-to-toe with these Rhinos right now. So Marko, he's going to try to go in behind that pillbox. Does not have the Grizzlies for that. Eagles now coming defensively. If these Eagles can do some work, 4 for 4 on the misses. Those Eagles really needed to help the cause. If they each could have taken a Rhino, it'd be a little bit better of a spot here, but now the pressure continuing on. Qien in his base. There's so many pillboxes. He ults the War Factory. Paradrop now on the hill, but now in the back, he's going to go right at an Eagle. He's not going to get it. Oh my God. I'm literally stressing out. I'm sweating for these guys right now. I would just quit. As soon as it gets this intense for more than 15 seconds, I just quit. My heart can't handle it. Oil goes down, no chain reaction. Nice build from Qien. Especially, like I talked about again, when you're facing an allied player, to be so mindful of your build to try to minimize, the chain reactions. Marko out with 8 Eagles, guys. Qien did not get the value he needed early on here. I'd like to see Qien split off maybe on this left side. Marko doesn't have a tremendous amount of tanks. There's a lot of... Oh, and Marko miscalculates, doesn't get the War Factory or the oil there. So now Qien's going to come on the left side. I think these Rhinos, this right side's pretty blocked off. The left side's looking pretty juicy. Marko trying to get those War Factories together to keep his tank numbers up. And now, and Qien dives in on the right side now. Prism Tower, and again, a lot of pillboxes. Marko playing allied the way you expected here, tight and defended. A lot of smoking grizzlies on the left side here, and this seems to be the tender underbelly here. You'd think we would see Qien shift his action over there. Nice hit with the eagles. Yeah, and now Qien does need to recognize that this is going to be going into a mid, possible late game, and consider tech, and also consider more anti-air in this position, because these eagles are going to continue to harass him. And Qien going to go around the back right. Qien going to go around the back right here on the left side. A lot of fodder in that group. He's going to need to be very careful with his micro. Those dogs can make a huge difference. Grabs another oil in the back right. Qien gets in and grabs the demo truck. Oh, and Qien skirts right around those primary defenses. Marko now bringing the GIs back to defend. Does he? Oh, and a nice chain reaction there. And Qien, oh my god, Marko making him work for it, but Qien does take it home. Very nice tactics there on that offense, coming from both sides, getting around the backside. That's exactly how the map was meant to be played, but unfortunately us mortals definitely struggle with it. You watch me play this map, I'm just sending people right down one lane the whole time. I'm sending conscripts in a straight line, Sneers building sentry guns. All right, here we go. AVS now. So Marko now with Soviet. Marko obviously one of the top Soviet players in the world. But Qien, well, Qien's one of the strongest Blitz players to do it. So we'll see what he can bring here. He is going to open some GIs, try to get some value there. Also, got to give a quick shout out. I missed Zed's birthday the other day. It was Zed's birthday. Zed, happy belated birthday. We missed Zed. I was rewatching a stream and Zed said it was his birthday and I missed it because I was distracted. What a heartbreaker. What a heartbreaker. Zed, happy birthday, buddy. You did it. Nothing like a birthday. Nothing like watching a couple pros bang out on your belated birthday. All right, so he bundles the GIs up there. That's why you shoot the ground like that. You get all the GIs in a nice little snowball. Now going to reroute, baiting a billion sentry guns here. And the GI so now just wants to be careful. As soon as the rhinos come, you got to melt them. And now you want to kind of, the way he has his tanks on the back line, if the tanks come in, you'll see him try to shift his grizzlies in front of the GIs. Using, oftentimes you think of the GIs to protect the grizzlies, but in this case, yeah, well, now the GI's starting to dwindle a little bit here. So he baited a billion sentry guns. That used to be a little bit more significant. In the prior to adding the starting oil, baiting some sentry guns early on, players would go broke. But now you look at Marko. Marko built a billion sentry guns. He still has money. He has less money, which is good, but we've definitely seen the value of kind of baiting defensive structures go down with that increased economy with the starting oils. But still, we've talked about this before, obviously the value of the Allied player, keeping the action on the Soviet player's side of the map early game, regardless of if you're able to, get in and take out their MCV or not. Qien now going to shift to the left side. Good idea, because there's a trillion sentry guns on the right side. Now Qien, Qien pretty good on the back foot here. Now he's got his AFC out. No defensive structures here from Qien. A bit scary. He did a good job keeping Marko distracted, but Marko's rhinos will be coming soon, so you'd expect to see some more sentry guns here, or some more pillboxes here from Qien. Demo trucks out now. Eagles coming on the left side. Oh, if he gets it right on the ledge, he might lose his eagles. Yep. Yep, we've seen that before. Yeah, if the demo truck with elevation like that can splash damage the demo trucks. We've seen that before. It's actually a very odd mechanic. It's a weird combination of variables that's affecting that. Demo trucks don't generally splash into the air like that, but if they're on the higher elevation at a weird angle, I don't know, we've seen it a few times this month. Very odd. So now Qien going right for the throat, storming in with his grizzlies, pretending that they're rhinos. It's always fun to watch the pro players pretend like they're grizzlies or rhinos. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Now Qien, the big thing for Qien here is he's getting the value with his with his eagles. He's gonna start chipping away at the oils, chipping away at the war factories. But again, you see Marko also with a very nice build here, nice and spread out. Lots of snipers in this group. Maybe too many snipers. Qien's putting himself broke. I'm not sure if 6 snipers were needed. Paradrop right to the front lines, and Qien coming right at him. I like it. I like that Qien's not sitting back here. Obviously, the obvious allied play is to try to slow things down, but he's going right for the throat. This is a scary amount of rhinos. Yeah, Marco's doing this equation in his head right now. Like, but sometimes you can, you know, the point of war, right? To appear strong when you are weak and weak when you are strong. And in this case, yeah, Qien pretending like he could hold that center zone. Marko was like, but whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. I have the rhinos here. You're not in charge. You don't get map control. Grizzly tanks. So now Qien in with some fodder. Again, Qien overproducing out of his barracks here. He's putting himself broke. 4 war factories don't do you much good if you're not producing. Split on the right side. And once Qien gets the action on, or once Marko gets the action on Qien's side of the field, Qien's going to be in trouble. Not a lot of pillboxes out, and certainly not the way you'd expect. Now we're going to see a split from Marko here. Marko's going to start going out these oils, looking nice and juicy on the right side. This build is kind of scary too. Allows your attacker to use the higher ground to come in and harass these oils. But Qien just spreading himself out. Okay, and does get those eagles out, only pays 1 for it. Nice unit control there. Yeah, the interesting decision you have Berg pointing out, obviously 5 eagles, you can take an oil or you can take a war factory. But yeah, so generally speaking, going for war factories, obviously Berg saying that's the preferred idea here. Yeah, different strokes for different folks. I guess Qien feels like he has a better chance of trying to control Marko's economy, trying to force this into a late game. There's a lot of rhinos on the right side, guys. Look at these 2 grizzlies. What are those 2 grizzlies in charge of? All right, you 2 grizzlies, go to the right side. Qien's struggling a little bit with this split here. Now he gets split up, but his, I think the rhinos are storming through here. Could be the beginning of the end for the Octo Kid. Marko with this many rhinos, at some point, it doesn't really matter what you have. You give Marko 30 rhinos, and does it really matter what you have? That's the question. Yeah, Zed. Hey, Zed, happy belated birthday. Sorry I was distracted in the chat. I missed your message. You're 2 days late. Okay, good talk. Well, hey, I tried to be nice. You guys saw it here first. I tried to be nice to Zed. You guys saw it. That was my peace offering to try to be nice to Zed. He denied it, and now I'm allowed to be mean to Zed. You guys were all here for it. We did it live. Now you guys know.